And thank you everyone for joining us. Welcome to CultureWorks 2019-2020 annual meeting. Welcome to all of my fellow cultural champions. For those of you who have yet to meet, my name is Bill Perry. I am the development manager here at CultureWorks. And it's good to see so many of you on here today. So just wanted to set a couple of house rules and let people know how things are going to work today. For starters, this meeting is being recorded. We know a lot of people were not able to attend, so we did want to make sure that we had the opportunity to share this information with everyone. You will be able to visit our website, that is cultureworks.org. You will be able to see a replay once Zoom finishes processing this video once all is said and done. As you've all noticed, the video and audio has been disabled for attendees, so please continue using the chat feature, and my coworkers and teammates here will be sure to answer your questions, and we'll all tag team as we go through this process. So please use the chat. One other note for those of you who are in screen share mode right now, I know for me, I can see all of our panelists in a sidebar on the right, but you may notice at the very top, you have what looks like a single bar, two bars on top of each other. I've got a grid video. If you change that to the one single bar, you can actually reduce this so only the active speaker is showing right now. So that can just free up a little extra real estate on your screen as we move through the presentation. Alrighty, and to kick things off, we would like to share with you a little message and a unique number from our friends at the Dayton Dance Initiative.
Good afternoon, CultureWorks. My name is Jocelyn Green, and I'm the founder of Dayton Dance Initiative. We are a collective of local professional dancers. We are made up of artists from different backgrounds, genres, and dance companies who come together under the umbrella of Dayton Dance Initiative to collaborate and create new and exciting art to share with our Dayton community. Personally, I am so thankful for CultureWorks because it was through winning one of their artist opportunity grants that I was able to launch Dayton Dance Initiative in 2018. 2 years later, and we are still going strong. This year, as all arts organizations have had to do, we've had to pivot from live performance to virtual. Rather than look at this pandemic as merely restrictive, we chose to look at this as an opportunity for growth. Choreographers became film directors, dancers became editors, and both our homes and the streets of Dayton became our stages. After the success of our first full-length virtual show in August, we are preparing to launch a new mini-series of films. Today, you will see two pieces from the upcoming mini-series. The first is a solo by myself, danced to the music of Dayton musician Benjamin S. Ribbett, inspired by my time in quarantine and the many sleepless nights of 2020. The second is a sneak peek of Claire Bergman's film titled Canvas, made in collaboration with Dayton visual artist Scott A. Carlson. Thank you so much, CultureWorks, for hosting Dayton Dance Initiative as the performers for your annual meeting. And many thanks to all of you who continue to support the arts and artists of Dayton. Enjoy the performance.
Hey, Mr. Sandman, give me your best. I've tried all that I can. I really need some rest, yes. I really need some rest, yes. I may be a heavy sleeper, you got me all shook up. I want to fall deep and deeper, dream about you till the sun comes up. 'Cause I know when my head hits the pillow, you come dance past my eyes, it will be so beautiful as a weeping willow. Come swing on my branches and rock me to sleep. Sleep, yeah, sleep. Sleep. Girl, I know your legs are tired. You've been running through my mind all night. But you know I have to thank you. 8 hours of that does my body right. Listen to I'm wishing I was kissing you and know that's true, that all of it's a dream in this REM cycle rendezvous. I don't care that you're not aware that I'm the only one there in this fraternal love affair. I know when my head hits the pillow, you come dance past to my eyes, it will be so beautiful as a weeping willow. Come swing on my branches and rock me to sleep. Sleep. I know when my head hits the pillow, you come dance past to my eyes, my eyes. I know when my head hits the pillow, you come dance past to my eyes, it will be so beautiful as a weeping willow. Come swing on my branches and rock me. I know when my head hits the pillow, you come dance past to my eyes, it will be so beautiful as a weeping willow. Come swing on my branches and rock me to sleep. Sleep, yeah, sleep. Sleep, rock me to sleep.
And now I'd like to turn it over to our volunteer leader, Sherry Sword, our CultureWorks board chair. Take it away, Sherry.
Absolutely. On behalf of the CultureWorks Board of Directors, it is my distinct pleasure as the chair to welcome you to today's annual meeting and officially call this meeting to order. First, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the Dayton Dance Initiative. If we could show them some love, it would be great. Whether it's the clap icon in Zoom, the virtual clap, which I see some of you doing, nodding and smiling heads, I know they would appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We'd also like to thank all of our elected officials for their continued support of arts and culture in our region. So thank you for all of that. As many of you know, I joined the CultureWorks board back in 2012 and as a part of the Leadership Dayton Board Match program. My passion for arts and culture is what drove me to be a part of the team and continues to fuel my fire for the organization's mission. Arts and culture are an important part of this community. Sure, these organizations improve our quality of life in the Miami Valley, no denying it, none of us can. But take it down to the basics, the purest emotions. When you see or hear a performance, create a piece of art, or view pieces in a gallery, Think about how they make you feel. They inspire, motivate, fascinate you. They feed your own creativity. The opportunities make you stop, think, ponder, wonder. They unite us. They minimize stress and anxiety, and they very often just simply make you smile. And now, more than ever with this pandemic, we need our arts and culture organizations to do just that. And that's what drives me to serve with the leaders on the Culture Works board. I'd like to recognize those board members that are moving on to their next chapters. Antoinette Geyer, Anita Adams Jenkins, Shane Wilkins, and Jane Kiefer. We thank them for all they've done and will continue to do for our community and beyond. But I would also like to thank our current members, which you can see on our screen. It's an honor to work shoulder to shoulder with them, and we have some new members that are joining the ranks that will help us attain our next milestones and achievements as an organization. So thank you all. We understand that arts and culture organizations were some of the first to close due to the crisis and may very well be some of the last to reopen. They need your support, our staff and board support, and our organization's support now more than ever. Yes, like most organizations, it has been a tough year for Culture Works, but we have found ways to save. We have gained new sources of funding and ways to serve our constituents. It is my pleasure to introduce Dave Stacy, our treasurer, to take us through the 2019-2020 financial review.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Stacy. I'm treasurer of the Board of Trustees of Culture Works. I'm going to take some time to review some financial highlights of the fiscal year that ended on June 30, 2020. First, the audit. Brady Ware and Company audited Culture Works financial records again this year. And again this year, they gave us a clean opinion. Tax return for 2020 is not yet completed, is in process, and expected to be filed on time. Not surprisingly, the big story for 2020 for our finances was COVID-19. It hit right about the ramp up of the workplace giving program. So that campaign was hard hit. Other fundraising programs were also hard hit or postponed. And thankfully, several organizations stepped up to help with special donations during this time. And as these donations were largely in cash rather than pledges, it enabled Culture Works to provide some relief through partial advances to our cultural partners, rather than having them wait until July, which is customary. So even with these special donations, however, revenue for fiscal year 2020 fell $150,000 from the prior year. To help offset some of this financial impact, Culture Works applied for loans under 2 federal programs. Secured a $49,000 loan under the Federal Paycheck Protection Program. We hope to qualify to have this loan forgiven. The organization also received $150,000 through the Small Business Administration's Economic Injury Disaster Loan. The organization reduced grants to our artistic and cultural partners by a total of about $110,000 compared to the prior year. But unlike prior years, we were able to make a partial advance on these grants, as mentioned before. Spending on administrative expenses was also curtailed as much as possible. In conclusion, I want to thank our great and loyal staff for managing through such a difficult period this year. We thank you for your continued support of Culture Works.
Now let's hand it over to Lisa. I believe, Lisa, you're still on mute, and we'll hear from our executive director.
Yeah, that mute button will get you every time, won't it? Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here with all of you today. I'd like to start by thanking Sherry Sword for your welcoming remarks and for your thoughtful leadership as Culture Works board chair. I recently heard someone describe that managing during this time is a lot like driving on black ice. You think you can manage your way out of it, but really all you can do is go with the skid. Thank you, Sherry, for helping me stay on the road. Also, thanks to Dave Stacy for delivering the CultureWorks 2019-2020 financial report. We value your financial leadership, especially during times like these. Even during normal times, it takes a dedicated, skilled, and passionate group of community leaders to guide the efforts of CultureWorks. I would like to extend a very special thank you to each CultureWorks board member for your commitment to our region's arts and to the important mission of CultureWorks during such unprecedented times. You're all rock stars. I have often expressed how grateful I am to be part of such a great community and to play a role in supporting the unique and exceptional arts landscape that adds to the beauty of this region that we call home. It was during this last March that I began to understand on a deeper level just how special our community is. Many of us have had a natural curiosity about the historical reference to Dayton as the Gem City. As one may research on how this nickname started, they may come across the article excerpt from August 18th, 1845. And I'm going to read that excerpt for you. The most indifferent observer will not fail to notice Dayton, the wide streets kept in excellent order, the noble blocks of stores filled with choice and, of course, cheap goods, and more than all, the exceeding beauty and neatness of the dwellings. You at once mark with a white stone in the small bend of the great Miami River, with canals on the east and the south. It may be fairly said that Dayton is the gem of our interior towns. It possesses wealth, refinement, enterprise, and a beautiful country. During our recent Renaissance, we've all been excited with the flurry and the redevelopment of new opportunity in the core of our region. During this season, the term Gem City has been used more frequently, and I began thinking about its meaning for a new age. So I did a little science research on how the beautiful stones that we refer to as gems are formed. Simply put, a gem is formed when minerals are forced together under great pressure and heat, usually by tectonic plates moving underneath each other. If we think about this process and relate it to the happenings over the last couple of years, I would say our community has endured all of these shifts in temperature and pressure and found out just how strong we are together. We also found out how we shine when we come together to support one another, to rebuild, to heal. And now, as we navigate the COVID-19 crisis together, we're experiencing the process of changing good earth into precious gems, good people into gems that shine even brighter. The sudden closure of museums and galleries, concert halls, and theaters in March truly upended the arts across the world, and of course, right here where we live. The resulting financial and personal impacts of the pandemic on artists and arts lovers has been enormous. But our region's creative community did not stop creating. Performers began recording themselves on phones, dancing and singing in their homes, as we saw a bit of today. We saw virtual artist demonstrations and exhibits. They used the Zoom interface to interact with one another in the little boxes like we have today that we've all become so accustomed to during the work meeting. And CultureWorks was pleased to support many of these individual artists through Dayton Artist Stream, which you will hear about later in today's presentation. Arts organizations began to explore new ways to share experiences through online platforms. One of the first virtual experiences that I watched, and I'm sure you have too, was from the Dayton Philharmonic. They did a Zoom rendition of Hang On Sloopy. It was great fun, and it was wonderful to see them playing. Now we are seeing an array of online streaming experiences, replacing planned seasons of programming. While nothing replaces the power of live performances and the way that they connect us, our organizations have gone to great lengths to offer online options to remain relevant. Through each moment of this unusual journey, CultureWorks has been here to advocate, support programs, and raise money for our region's arts through campaign efforts. Before talking about campaign outcomes, I would like to extend very special thanks to Don Baker for serving as this past year's campaign chair. We got off to a very exciting start, which, as we know, came to a very abrupt halt. We have been grateful to have Don's leadership during a campaign year we will never forget. The Dayton Business Journal helped to keep the message alive regarding the tremendous importance of the arts in our community. Thank you, Don. As you've heard in our treasurer's report, campaign revenues were down significantly as many of our business partners were hit hard by the pandemic. We are extremely grateful to this community's loyal donors and to some new partners who stepped in to build support for the arts. It is thanks to each of you who were able to continue contributing that CultureWorks has been able to continue providing operational support through June of 2021. Campaign for the Arts closed in August 2020, a delay from our typical fiscal year end on June 30th. Overall, campaign revenues required a reduction in the 2020-2021 award by 30%. We will conduct a rolling campaign throughout this year and have called it Restart the Arts. Our goal will be to restore pre-pandemic operational support levels and raise surplus funds that can be distributed to restart the arts engine. As our community began to feel the impact of the arts absence, both intrinsically and economically, our local government entities responded to the current crisis by inviting arts organizations to apply for CARES Act funding. Very special thanks to Montgomery County and the City of Dayton for their support. You will hear from CultureWorks staff and board members today about the work that has taken place prior to and throughout the pandemic. I would like to take just a moment to thank the dedicated team, which is CultureWorks, and recognize each of them now. So maybe you can just do a little wave. Those of you staff members, as I call your name, Susan Daly, Development Associate, Bill Perry, Development Manager, Karen Maynor, Grants Manager, Dory Watts, Manager of Strategic Initiatives. And I'd also like to recognize our financial team from Arlt CPA, Lisa Arlt, and new to CultureWorks, Cindy Schelleberger. We could have not made it to this point without you, especially this year. I have always considered it a privilege to work with this team. However, you find out what people are truly made of during the tough times. And I can tell you that these are exceptional and resilient professionals. A huge thank you to each of you for the work that you do every day. Without further delay, I would like to introduce Sherry Williams, CultureWorks board members, Secretary and Programs Committee Chair, along with Karen Maynor, to present the programs report.
Thank you, Lisa. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sherry Williams. I first became involved with CultureWorks as a workplace giving representative while at LexisNexis. During the company campaign, CultureWorks got me hooked on their mission with artists in residence, workplace performances, and a compelling message on the value of supporting the arts and improving the well-being of a community. I raised my hand. I volunteered to become a panelist on the Leonard P. Roberts Scholarship Committee. And when my 3-year term ended, I knew I would miss being deeply involved with CultureWorks. And I volunteered to be part of the programs committee. This work, conducted with the help of Karen Maynor, CultureWorks Grants Manager, not only provides funding and advocacy for the arts, but also integration points into our hometown in so many ways. The programs are varied and support different parts of our constituency. And probably the Community Arts Grant is our most well-known program. Karen, will you share details?
Thank you, Sherry. Every year, supporters of the Campaign for the Arts enable us to provide general operating support grants to our region's major arts organizations. Organizations can use these community arts grants to support their areas of greatest need and greatest impact. As we all know, many arts organizations' needs changed dramatically in light of COVID-19. In the first days of the pandemic, community arts grantees canceled events and closed their doors to protect our health. And since then, they've worked tirelessly to adapt performances, exhibitions, and educational programming for virtual spaces, so that even in times of isolation and uncertainty, everyone in our community can continue to find comfort and connection through the arts. Each of you listening today likely has a very deep personal connection to one or more of our community arts grantees. For me, it was a Dayton Performing Arts Alliance presentation to my third grade class that first inspired my love of music, and it was a trip to the Dayton Art Institute at the age of 10 that first opened my eyes to the vastness of the world. We believe that these kinds of awe-inspiring experiences are especially important now. So to give our grantees more time to focus on their critical work, this year we decided to suspend the community arts grant application process, which would have happened in the spring. And we automatically approved last year's grantees for continued funding in the current fiscal year. Although we didn't have a formal application process in 2020, we still want to thank the individuals who volunteered to serve as community arts grant panelists. It's only through their commitment and yours that we're able to ensure that the arts continue to inspire in the Dayton region. Now I'd like to hand it back to Sherry Williams to talk a bit about how we're supporting the next generation of artists through our educational initiatives.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Karen. We have several programs that are focused on students. Today, CultureWorks is matching local teachers and parents with arts education programs through Arts Deep and making it even easier to deliver quality education to local students. Collaboration occurred with school districts, universities, teachers, administrators, parents, art organizations, and individual artists throughout the Miami Valley region. The online portal to connect schools to the arts was launched during this fiscal year. And I want to give a special thank you to Dory Watts, CultureWorks Manager of Strategic Initiatives, for her very hard work to make it so. Now, teachers may select a grade and a subject to find art experience for the classrooms. And studies show that incorporating the arts into education leads to more engaged, higher achieving students. And with this support from academic and artist communities, we can offer another educational resource. One of my favorites and where I got started with CultureWorks is a student-focused program called the Leonard P. Roberts Scholarship. We offer college scholarships to local high school and college students. And each year, I will tell you, the applicants and their stories are so interesting, so diverse, and frankly, amazing. And the panelists on the scholarship committee give considerable time to review the applicants. And I want to thank them for that abundant amount of personal time that they contributed. 9 recipients were selected for scholarship awards on May 7th. And a little history, since the first scholarships were awarded in 1994, more than $400,000 from the Leonard P. Roberts Scholarship Fund has been awarded to over 200 students to assist them in their educational pursuits. So it's something to be quite proud of. Now, moving on to something as unique as this particular year, but on a positive note, was the chance for CultureWorks to support local artists during the pandemic through the Dayton Artist Stream Initiative. I'll turn it over to Karen for her to speak about it and also to share some more about other programming highlights for the year.
As many of us know, This has been a very challenging year, and individual artists and other creative workers have been among the most heavily impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. But right at the start of the statewide shutdowns, a local duo of theater professionals, Chris Hahn and Jenna Valen, began a program called the Dayton Artist Stream, which was a Facebook page that they created where local artists could share virtual performances, talks, all kinds of artistic experiences. And CultureWorks really loved this idea and we wanted to support it. So we provided funding so that artists who shared their work through the Dayton Artist Stream could receive stipends. We think it's especially important right now with many artists struggling due to the COVID-19 pandemic that we're encouraging artists to continue creating because of course all of us know how impactful their work is and how much all of us as individuals have been turning to the arts during this time. Other funders in the community were also very excited about this idea, and the Montgomery County Arts and Cultural District actually provided additional funding so that we could provide even more stipends for more artists. It was an excellent partnership and not the first time that CultureWorks has partnered with the MCACD to support local artists. In fact, since 2016, the Montgomery County Arts and Cultural District has provided more than $120,000 to support the work of Montgomery County artists through the Artist Opportunity Grant Program, which CultureWorks administers. Earlier in the meeting, you heard from Jocelyn Green, who received an Artist Opportunity Grant during the 18-19 cycle to stage and choreograph a new work for the debut performance of the Dayton Dance Initiative. Jocelyn is now only one of 50 artists to receive a grant through the program since it launched 4 years ago. In 2020, 17 artists were awarded $39,336 in grants to complete new works and take advantage of opportunities for professional growth. As you can imagine, many of these artists' projects had to evolve due to COVID-19. However, they have demonstrated resilience and ingenuity throughout it all, and CultureWorks has been proud to work with each of them to ensure their project's success. We'd like to thank the 2020 Artist Opportunity Grantees, the Artist Opportunity Grant Panel, the MCACD, and the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners for supporting this program. Because of all of them, even when it has sometimes felt like the entire world has ground to a halt, the Dayton community has been able to continue looking to the future through the work of visionary artists. And finally, I'm very excited to report that the 2020 fiscal year also saw the launch of a new program in partnership with the MCACD, the Special Projects Grant Program. This new program provides grants of up to $10,000 to nonprofits, schools, government agencies, and grassroots organizations to create arts and cultural projects in Montgomery County. Over the summer, the inaugural Special Projects Grant Panel reviewed applications and awarded $133,000 to 15 local organizations. Those funded projects will be happening through July 2021, so be sure to keep an eye on our social media and our website for ongoing updates, and we'll look forward to reporting on the project outcomes at next year's annual meeting. With that, it is my great pleasure to introduce the Vice Chair of the CultureWorks Board of Trustees, Eileen Carr.
Thank you, Karen. We appreciate so much that you and all of our staff and volunteers do for CultureWorks and for our artist communities. It's really heartening to see the range of programming, and great job. To make that work possible, though, we need to make a few remarks about how we fund that. CultureWorks depends on community contributions. We are the region's United Arts Fund, and we offer private, public, and business donors probably the best way to help the community's arts as a whole. Like United Way, we have a workplace giving option that helps businesses make individual giving simple through payroll deduction. We also offer a great website, and many other opportunities through our campaign to make your contribution. I believe that CultureWorks is that single most effective way for us to sustain our regional cultural ecosystem. It's why I'm on the board, and it's why I'm a donor. We are effective because individuals are here for us and for all our cultural organizations. As we've mentioned, CultureWorks has definitely felt the impact of the pandemic. Like all arts organization, I think we saw our donations down. But one of the things we have done is redouble our efforts. Before we talk about that future, though, I think we really owe great thanks to those who have contributed this challenging year. We are grateful to those who stepped up with leadership gifts and to those who gave whatever was manageable. All of these gifts add up and provide critical support. But even as we review, we are busy planning for the future. And I think our staff have some great strategies to move us into 2021. I just want to mention, though, in the scheme of things, what really drives us is the commitment we have to funding and meeting the needs of our grantees. CultureWorks is a funder, not only with the help of organizations like the county for individual artists, but also we provide operating support for some of our community's most important resources. Organizations like the Dayton Bach Society, the Muse Machine, Dayton Contemporary Dance Company. We are committed to maintaining and growing that funding with your help. To talk about the ways in which we have worked to raise that money and the ways we'll do it in the future, we're going to hear now from Bill Perry again, Development Manager, and Dory Watts, Manager of Strategic Initiatives. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much, Eileen. Well, this was definitely an unusual year for fundraising, but it was an exciting year too. I think this has been a great team to work with. And the exciting thing about us working in arts and culture is that we all want to share this joy, these experiences, these memories. We had a fabulous start to our fundraising season. People jumped in very early. They've been hearing the message of CultureWorks. I think people understand what we're trying to accomplish, how we really want to see arts and culture be just an essential part of the human experience, what it means to live, work, and play in the Dayton region. We had a fantastic kickoff in the spring before a lot of things changed for us. But again, one of the exciting things was to see students from the University of Dayton performing. The Bach Society was performing. We had more than 100 people gathered in the lobby of Stratacache Tower just to celebrate local arts and culture. One of the exciting things that even happened to me is in the midst of it, someone who works in the tower came up to me and said, "What's going on here? I came back from a meeting and there's opera in the lobby of my office." He was like, "This is fantastic." And that is exactly what we wanted to accomplish. It was just something to brighten someone's day. Lisa had mentioned it before, but once again, we do want to give a big thanks to Don Baker, President and Market Publisher of the Dayton Business Journal, for not only helping us to make this a reality, but for sharing his story about how he became a lover of the arts, an arts aficionado, and someone who wants to share that love with his coworkers, his community, and his daughter. We definitely want to give great thanks to everyone who supported the campaign and our efforts. No gift is too small, and the great thing about a United Arts Fund is that all of these gifts together really result in a tremendous impact. I would like to take a moment to thank our cultural pioneers, Montgomery County, Messer, and Premier Health. Our cultural influencers, the Ohio Arts Council, CareSource and CareSource Foundation, the Charles D. Berry Foundation, the Berry Family Foundation, Dayton Magazine, LexisNexis, our cultural developer, Fifth Third, and a very big round of applause goes to our cultural visionary, the Dayton Foundation. And Lisa, if I can hand it over to you. You're still muted.
So that mute button and I are not getting along today. All right, thank you, Bill. You know, this is a very special recognition today. During this time of crisis, you know, the community leaders came together. What can we do? We looked at funding priorities, and the Dayton Foundation was there. Had many conversations with Mike Parks and Barbara Stonerock and members of the Dayton Foundation team to explore ways that we could help support the arts. And we would like to thank them for giving a significant gift of $75,000. This gift was made possible by the Harry A. Toolman Jr. and Virginia B. Toolman Fund of the Dayton Foundation and other Dayton Foundation Field of Interest funds that were established to support the arts. We really couldn't have offered the advance grant distributions without their help. And so we thank them, and we thought to recognize this very special gift by the Dayton Foundation, we would commission a work of art that could be hung on their wall. And so we've commissioned a mosaic work from Jess McMillan, founder and director of the Mosaic Art Institute. And Bill, I believe Jess is with us here today, and she would like to share a little bit about the work's theme and her process in creating it.
There we go.
Hi, everyone.
And there she is.
All right, I am here with the design that will become a stained glass mosaic for the Dayton Foundation. And for those of you that don't know what a mosaic is, the kind that I will be making will be several hundred small pieces of stained glass of all sizes that will come onto the design, glue down here one by one, and then there's a grouting process at the end to fill the space in between all the pieces. I'm very honored to create this design for the Dayton Foundation, who helped me with my organization nearly 6 years ago and has done so much for the Dayton community. And also CultureWorks has been amazing, helping me grow and helping me find the tools over the years to become very effective in serving my community and growing with my art. So I'd like to show you all the colors, but we'll stick to just a few because of our time here. This mosaic will have some beautiful stained glass, some of this green colors in the tops of the trees. It's beautiful stuff. I love working with this. And then as we get up into the sky behind the tree, we're going to really pull out some beautiful sunset colors. And down here under the tree, I'm going to bring out some of the roots and play a little bit with the energy and the life force and how the roots of the Dayton Foundation connect to our community and the people. And so you can follow progress of this piece on CultureWorks Facebook. There'll be a few time-lapse videos of progress that are really cool to check out. So thank you, CultureWorks, for the opportunity, and thank you, Dayton Foundation, for all you do for us.
Yes, and thank you, Jess. We are very excited to see the finished product, and we are excited to see that it will hang on the walls of the Dayton Foundation. We thank them for everything that they do for this community and how you have especially helped the arts this year during this year of crisis. Thank you. Back to Bill.
And actually, we're going to hand it over now to Dory. There we go.
Hello, I am Dory Watts. I'm the manager of strategic initiatives. I think I probably know most of you at this point, but if I haven't met you, very nice to meet you virtually. I'm going to talk a little bit about our workplace giving campaign this year. So workplace giving is the way that CultureWorks reaches out to employees in the workplace across the Dayton region to support the arts. With the help of a dedicated group of volunteer workplace coordinators and their committees, In many organizations in the Dayton region, we focus on employee engagement and encouraging donations large and small that eventually come together into a workplace gift for the Campaign for the Arts each year. Traditionally, workplace giving has brought in the most fundraising for the Campaign for the Arts every year. Most of our workplace campaigns start in March, and they usually wrap up by the end of our fiscal year in June 30th. This year, obviously, it was different. Timing was interesting for the kickoff of many campaigns. Workplace giving was severely impacted. It was not only due to just general community uncertainty, but the disengagement of many employees in the workplace who were suddenly no longer in their workplace, but working from a whole different environment where they weren't having the same interactions at all with their fellow employees or those who could encourage their participation. So in response to that, we did extend our campaign season 2 additional months. We are thankful that organizations like Premier Health, Coolidge Wall, the City of Dayton, and Brady Ware & Company were able to fit in their workplace campaigns during that extension period. That helped quite a bit this year, so thank you. We did have some very bright spots in workplace giving this year. If you could go to that next slide for me, Bill, that would be great. Fifth Third Bank's campaign started and ended right before COVID really hit, and they boasted an 18% increase in giving this year. There were 10 other organizations that increased their workplace campaign during the 2019-2020 year, and many of them right in the midst of COVID-19. So Bach Society of Dayton members, thank you. CultureWorks employees, the Dayton Business Journal and the DBJ employees, the Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau employees, the Dayton Foundation employees. I also have to shout out to them because they had 100% participation in their campaign this year. Thank you, Karen Simmons, for that, who coordinated that campaign. The employees at Horan, Messer and Messer employees, Muse Machine employees, Siebel, Shillito, and Dyer employees, and the United Way of the Greater Dayton area employees. Thank you all for increasing your workplace campaign in this very challenging year. Many of our employees' workplaces thrive on engagement when the Campaign for the Arts runs each spring, and they enjoy the opportunity for performances and arts exhibits that come into their workplaces this time of year. This year, for obvious reasons, was different. Still, some workplaces really rose to the challenge and created virtual arts experiences that enabled their folks to enjoy the arts in different ways. So that was things like the Montgomery County CultureWorks Committee recorded Zoom interviews, many of them for their employees to enjoy, interviewing arts leaders and artists across the Dayton region. The City of Dayton did a virtual Zoom lunch hour. You can see the picture there with Nan welcoming the folks, and we had recorded and some live performances for those folks to enjoy during the lunch hour. Both of these were innovative ways to bring the arts to the employees who are working in a much different environment than usual. We appreciate the efforts of all of our workplace coordinators this year, and most especially those who went above and beyond in a very challenging and different fundraising environment for fiscal year 2019-20. Thank you so much. Amber Susan Best was a community leader and arts patron and a longtime Board of Trustees member for CultureWorks until her untimely death from breast cancer in 2017. She had a very unusual habit of finding 4-leaf clovers also wherever she happened to be around a patch of clover. That year, CultureWorks decided to honor Amber's memory by awarding the first Amber Best Clover Award for excellence in both fundraising and employee engagement in the workplace. The first recipient that year was Montgomery County. This year's 2020 Amber Best Clover Award goes to an organization that has supported CultureWorks with a robust workplace giving campaign for over 20 years, and one that has provided us with 3 excellent and knowledgeable Board of Trustee members over the years also. This year, their campaign kicked off the very week that the state of Ohio was shut down with the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite that, they still increased their employee giving over the following 2 weeks. This organization is employee-owned and boasts a culture of art support in all the communities they serve across the country. We are thankful for the support of the Dayton arts community by Messer. And that workplace campaign was run by Ian Simpson. And we are very thankful for your long time support of the campaign. I think Mike King, who is the executive engineer for Messer and also a Culture Works board member, is here with us today. If you would like to speak briefly, Mike, we welcome you. If not, just let me know.
You have.
We hear you.
Thank you very much on behalf of Messer. It's been our pleasure to support Culture Works. They're an outstanding organization and continue to show a difference in our community each and every year. On behalf of Ian, I thank you, and I'm sure we're going to be delighted here when I share the news. Thank you.
So on behalf of Culture Works, I present this award, which is the 2019-2020 Amber Best Clover Award to Messer. Thank you so much. Messer cannot be present at the event, so I will accept it on their behalf. Okay, so this year, I'll wait till we get back to the screen. We are happy to announce a new Culture Works Award. Our volunteers in the workplace are the lifeblood of our workplace campaign. We count on them to do the hard work of engaging their fellow employees in support of the campaign for Culture Works every campaign season. I'm going to turn things over to Lisa Hansen to talk about this year's new award.
Thank you, Dory. So I'm going to share a little story. I was just brand new in my role with Culture Works as executive director. And I actually think that it was even maybe the first week to 2 weeks, the Montgomery County campaign was running. And I was introduced to the volunteer campaign leader, Doreen Ragsdale. And oh my goodness, this lady could light up a room. And I was just so excited to experience, my first campaign with Culture Works, and what a way to do it. She got this nickname from me that started because when she walked in, she was just this little bundle of energy, and we really did start calling her a little firecracker, a human firecracker, because she just exploded with energy and she lit up the room. And she ignited enthusiasm for the arts in our region, for Culture Works, and among the employees throughout Montgomery County. Her contributions over the years are just amazing, and we are going to miss her as she retires this year. So as we move forward, we thought it would be fitting to recognize her with another award. And I'm going to pass it back to Dory because she's going to tell you all about that award.
So this award is, I'm going to go ahead and, as Lisa mentioned, I'll go ahead and you can bring up this in just a second, Bill. This is an award that is named on behalf of Doreen, who again retired after 37 years with Montgomery County. She worked with the Culture Works campaign since 2012, which is about when I started, and has grown it monumentally at Montgomery County in those years. So this is the Doreen Ragsdale Firecracker Award. So the very first Doreen Ragsdale Firecracker Award this year goes to an individual who absolutely went above and beyond in his quest to engage his fellow employees this year. On his own time and with the blessing of his workplace, he reached out to nearly 30 artists and arts leaders to interview them virtually via Zoom about their thoughts on the Dayton art community and their personal experience as artists. These interviews serve as a fascinating snapshot of individual artists and experiences in 2020, and also a valuable archive for the future. All these interviews are available on the Culture Works YouTube page, our channel, so I encourage you to check them out. Culture Works is so pleased to present the 2020 Doreen Ragsdale Firecracker Award to Michael London of Montgomery County. Congratulations, Michael. I think you're still here. Yes. So here is your beautiful award that I will get to you somehow in the next little bit. But thank you, Michael, for all the work this year. If you want to say a few things, Bill has made you alive there.
Yeah, just a quick thank you to everybody, especially all of the artists that were able to respond so quickly and participate in the project that we had to raise awareness. So thanks to everybody, and I couldn't be more complimented than to have this be with Doreen's name on it. Thanks all.
Very good. So that is the end of the workplace giving presentation. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to everyone who participated, whether you donated, whether you supported, whether you performed, whether you talked about it. I appreciate you all.
I'll hand it back to Lisa, and Lisa, I'll give you the heads up to unmute.
This time, I think I got myself unmuted in time.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I would like to thank all of our presenters today for reviewing this past year. And I'd like to thank each of you that are joining us for this virtual meeting. It is a little different, and I cannot wait to be in a room with all of you again in person. We miss that exchange of energy. We cannot wait to come together and experience performances and art again. We so miss it. As we look to the future, it is clear that things are unclear. But we're doing our best to keep those plans for the future moving forward. It is vital to our community's success. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about our future. As many of you may know, CultureWorks made the decision this past summer to move out of our offices located in the Premier Health Building. We were working remotely for the most part, and plans were already in place to transition to the Dayton Arcade once it was ready. So it just made sense to reduce that expense associated with a physical location during this pandemic. So we are very excited about this move to the arcade, and we anticipate moving into our new space the beginning part of 2021. In fact, I believe, Bill, you have a rendering to share of our future home at the arcade. We thought you may enjoy taking a sneak peek. You all are the first outside of staff and board members to see this. So we are excited. We are anticipating great things from being a part of that redevelopment project that really truly represents the connection between culture and community. Keep your ears to the ground because there is more to come about that time of transition and the role that we will play while over at the arcade. But in closing, I will remind us how the arts in our region have come back after floods, recessions, and other setbacks over the decades. We function with the hope that our stages will once again be graced by the artistic expression of the talented artists who have also walked this journey. I believe the arts are truly essential, but for their successful comeback from this pandemic, the continued support of our community is required. We all have to come together to ensure that they are able to once again open. Most of you on this call today understand that a live performance setting is a single moment that can take you to a different place. This moment in time is taking all of us to a different place. Our tectonic plates are shifting, but remember, that is how beautiful gems are created. I thank you for joining us today. May you all have a fabulous rest of your week.